8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
All right, everyone. This is Chad from WDBG. And in this second attempt to wake you Canucks up, I'm gonna, through this little pre-intro, start this very important video out for Amy today, because it's time to get real and stop the bollocks. For years now, we've watched Tamara Lich, Cat Canada, Andy Lee, and the rest of them freedom fighters spouting off bold as brass. They've waved the flags, held the signs, given the fiery speeches, called out the tyranny, and rallied the crowds during the convoy, getting all the clicks and attention. But now, most of them have turned into spineless, useless click seekers. They're happy to stay on the outside, running their gobs, building their little personal brands, endlessly moaning and complaining about the government, while doing fuck all that's truly brave or viable. They ain't got the bottle to risk everything like the American founding fathers did, to actually start a new party and get someone proper, one of their own, not some legacy elite politician, on the inside, where real change can happen. They're too scared of the word Republican because decades of Canadian schooling and media have brainwashed the lot of them. Too gutless to step up and fight for real power instead of just reliving their convoy glory days. The time for all this fake bravery and endless whinging is well and truly over, mate. So now that that's been said, here's Amy.
Is Canada ready for a new kind of political party? A bold vision to restore power to the sovereign people, unalienable rights, ceremonial crown, liberty regained. Hey everyone, this is Amy Suzanne from VNA and WDBG TV. Today, I'm once again taking a real risk to my personal safety by coming on as my actual self, the way I really look, no AI avatar. And I'm also doing something I rarely do, repeating myself, and I'm only doing so because this is so vitally important, and because the first video didn't get the strong response or support it really should have. So yes, I'm back with this follow-up to repeat, reiterate, and drive home the full facts of what I laid out before. Our proposed new Republican Party of Canada is not a clone of the American Republican Party, not MAGA, and has nothing to do with Donald Trump or American politics. The word Republican here is used in its purest original meaning, a system where the people are truly sovereign. It's a 100% Canadian version of that idea, rooted in our own history and values. So please, don't let the word scare you or push you away. It simply means we want real power back in the hands of the Canadian people where it belongs. This isn't a party that exists yet. It's a serious, viable proposed platform and plan that Tamara, Kat, Andy, and many others have been talking about for years. But right now, it's just words on paper. It needs real people, especially the loud voices from the Freedom Convoy era, to get behind it and help turn it into reality. I know a lot of you watched the first video. You nodded along, you agreed with the ideas. But many stayed silent, no shares, no comments, no reaching out. And that's exactly why I'm back. Because too many strong voices in Canada have been running their mouths since 2022 about fixing the country, holding the line, and standing up for freedom. But when a clear, practical game plan is handed to them, too often nothing happens. They fall back into complaining from the sidelines instead of building something that can actually win inside the system. We saw it during the convoy. Even when freedom-loving Canadians outnumbered the police dramatically, the momentum faded because there was no lasting political vehicle to carry the fight forward. The same pattern continues with every new bill, every new restriction. If we keep doing the same thing, just talking tough without building real structure, we'll keep getting the same results. That's why this proposed new Republican Party of Canada matters. It's not just more talk. It's a concrete platform with one clear national referendum, unbreakable rights, real accountability tools, and a Canadian way forward. But it won't happen by itself. It needs Andy Lee's organizing skills and the genuine support of everyone who's been vocal about freedom since 2022. A lot of us conservatives didn't get the full story in school. Years of leftist influence in education and the media have left even the sharpest among us not knowing as much as we think about what's really going on in the world. So let me lay it out for you. Look at what regular people are doing in country after country after decades of the same kind of leftist policies we're dealing with here. Open borders, rising crime, higher taxes, attacks on parental rights, and governments that seem to care more about global agendas than their own citizens. In the Netherlands, Geert Wilders and his Party for Freedom were called every nasty name in the book for 20 years. But his party just won the most seats in parliament because everyday Dutch people finally said enough to mass immigration that was changing their country too fast. In Italy, Giorgia Meloni, who the media loved calling far-right, became prime minister after promising to put Italians and Italian values first. The people gave her a strong win. In France, Marine Le Pen and her national rally keep gaining ground because French voters are fed up with open borders and losing their own culture. In Argentina, outsider Javier Milei won the presidency in a landslide by promising to cut the bloated government and bring back real freedom. And just south of us, Donald Trump won re-election despite all the attacks, court cases, and smears because Americans wanted a leader who would put citizens first again. This is the big shift happening around the world right now. After decades of leftist policies causing real decline, regular people are waking up and voting strongly for the right. They're rewarding leaders who speak plainly and refuse to apologize for putting their own country and people first. And they're winning, even when the elites throw every label at them. We keep the things that make Canada special. The Crown and Governor-General stay as ceremonial symbols only, with no real power. We keep our parliamentary system and strong provinces. What we change is simple and long overdue. We entrench unalienable rights in the Charter, so no government, no court, and no notwithstanding clause can ever take them away again. Rights to free speech, bodily autonomy, parental rights, property rights, self-defense, and freedom of conscience. We add direct elections for senators, judges, prosecutors, police chiefs, and education commissioners. Real term limits. Recall and impeachment tools when leaders fail the people. Reasonable taxes and real energy freedom. All of it locked in by one single national referendum. One vote by the Canadian people. This is 100% Canadian. It's the same fire you've heard from Tamara, Kat, and Andy. So hit play, listen to the full platform, and decide for yourself. Canada doesn't need rescuing by anyone else. We just need to take our power back. And right now, the world is showing us that when citizens choose this path, they win. Let's do this, Canada. New Republican Party of Canada, NRPC, platform, unalienable rights, ceremonial crown, sovereign people. Preamble. Canada remains a constitutional monarchy with the Crown and Governor-General in a purely ceremonial role, symbols of tradition and continuity with no governing power. Real power belongs to the people through unbreakable rights and direct democratic accountability. The new Republican Party of Canada will keep most of Canada's existing system intact while making targeted, meaningful fixes. Our cornerstone commitment is a single national referendum to amend the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, specifically rewriting Section 1 to entrench unalienable rights that no government, court, or notwithstanding clause can override. Proposed new Charter Section 1 to be placed before the Canadian people in referendum. The Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms guarantees the rights and freedoms set out in it. These rights and freedoms shall not be limited, infringed, or overridden by any government, law, emergency declaration, or clause, including the notwithstanding clause. They are unalienable and belong to the people, not the Crown, Parliament, or courts. This referendum will also authorize the direct election mechanisms, term limits, and impeachment processes outlined below. One vote, one permanent restoration of power to the citizens. Unalienable rights and freedoms entrenched by referendum. Free speech. Absolute protection for all lawful expression. No hate speech laws. Compelled speech such as pronouns or censorship of scientific, religious, or political views. Repeal all online harm-style legislation on day one. Speech is restricted only for direct, imminent incitement to violence. Bodily autonomy. Every Canadian has the unalienable right to refuse any medical treatment, vaccine, procedure, or digital health ID. Never again will emergencies suspend this right. Parental rights. Parents have the unalienable right to direct the upbringing, education, and medical decisions for their children. No gender ideology, sexual content, or political indoctrination in schools before grade 9 without explicit parental consent. Violating schools lose all public funding. No medical transition for minors without court-approved parental consent. Property rights and self-defense. The right to own and enjoy private property without arbitrary seizure. Law-abiding citizens have the right to keep and bear arms for self-defense, sport, and hunting. Shall issue concealed carry permits nationwide after background check and safety course. End civil asset forfeiture abuse. Conscience and religious freedom. Full protection for doctors, professionals, and citizens to act according to their beliefs without penalty. Direct accountability. Power returned to the people. We retain the House of Commons, provincial legislatures, and parliamentary system. We add direct citizen control over key offices, senators elected directly by popular vote in each province or territory, fixed 6-year terms, 1/3 elected every 2 years. No more appointments. Lower court judges elected in their judicial districts for fixed 8-year terms. Prosecutors elected locally for 4-year terms, accountable to citizens, not politicians. Top police leaders elected for fixed terms by the public they serve. Top educators, provincial education commissioners, elected province-wide to safeguard curriculum and parental rights. All elections use simple eligibility rules. Canadian citizen, no serious criminal record, and can include nonpartisan ballots where suitable. Term limits for all elected and appointed officials to prevent entrenched power and career politicians. Prime Minister, maximum 2 full terms, 8 years total. Members of Parliament and Senators, maximum 3 terms in the same office. Elected judges, prosecutors, police chiefs, and educators, maximum 2 terms. Supreme Court justices, 10-year non-renewable term, still appointed but confirmed by Parliament. No exceptions. Impeachment and recall process, when officials fail the people. Citizens must have a peaceful, democratic way to remove officials who betray public trust, violate unalienable rights, or fail to serve the national interest. Recall petitions. For any elected official, citizens can trigger a recall election with petitions signed by 25% of voters in the relevant district or province. If successful, a special election is held within 60 days. Impeachment for high officials. The House of Commons can impeach the Prime Minister, Supreme Court justices, or other senior officers for high crimes, misdemeanors, gross negligence, or willful violation of unalienable rights. Conviction requires a 60% vote in the Senate. Removed officials are barred from future office. Automatic triggers. Impeachment proceedings begin automatically if an official is convicted of a serious crime or if a national referendum triggered by 10% citizen petition demands review. These tools ensure officials remain servants of the people, not masters. Failure to uphold rights or serve the public good has real consequences. Limits on government power. The Emergencies Act requires 75% approval in the House of Commons and automatic sunset after 30 days unless renewed by the same supermajority. No suspension of unalienable rights. Supreme Court justices confirmed by parliamentary vote. No lifetime tenure without accountability. All other elements of Canada's constitutional monarchy, parliamentary democracy, and federal-provincial balance remain unchanged. Economic and personal freedom, flat tax cap, combined federal plus provincial income tax never exceeds 20% for any Canadian. Nationwide right-to-work laws, no forced union dues, end the carbon tax and harmful net zero mandates that punish energy workers, farmers, and families. Canada will unleash its energy potential responsibly. Merit-based immigration that protects wages, services, and social cohesion. This is restoration, not revolution. We keep the ceremonial crown, the maple leaf, and the best of Canada's traditions. We have simply closed the loopholes in Section 1 that allowed rights to be treated as privileges and put real power where it belongs, in the hands of the sovereign people. Well, Canada, if everything you just heard sounds good to you, and you're on board with creating this proposed new Republican Party of Canada, or if you have ideas you'd like to share or add to this viable plan that could finally become reality, then please don't hesitate to reach out. This party won't build itself. It needs Andy Lee's organizing talent and the real commitment of everyone who's been loud about freedom since the convoy. If we keep doing what we've always done, just talking tough without backing it up with action, we'll keep getting the same disappointing results. But if we finally put our energy behind a real plan like this, we have a real shot at winning. You can contact Howard KWAHAN, Ottawa's own billboard Chris and the brainchild behind this whole idea, or if you prefer, contact Andy Lee. She's far better than Howard or I am at organizing political parties, running winning campaigns, and understanding the exact causes of every problem Canada faces, the very problems a party like this can finally solve. If you liked what you heard in this short explanatory video and you're in, please reach out to Andy Lee via DM on her X account and let her know you're ready to help turn these words into a real party. The same victory is waiting for Canada if we have the courage to move beyond just talking and actually support this proposed new Republican Party of Canada. When citizens stop complaining from the outside and choose to build something real inside the system, they take their country back. So let's stop just complaining and yelling into microphones. Let's take action. Contact Howard and Andy today so they can help make this much-needed party a reality for the greater good of Canada and everyone who calls it home. The world is already moving right and winning. Canada can lead, not follow. Sincerely, Amy Suzanne, Directress and CEO, VNA Voices of North America Media and Press Guild Group and WDBG, the Windsor Detroit Broadcast Group, wishing you bonsoir ce soir, good evening, good night, à la prochaine, till next time.
Oi, Canada. Now that your lots heard that, and for some of you heard it a second time, listen up to this old chap, the Chad here again, you lot of Canucks. What you just heard was the right kind of platform and the kind of party that can fix this right proper mess. That mess that, in just a bit more than a decade, those climate alarmist Marxist globalist liberals, the NDP, or should I say, the now dumb party, and those Quebec blockhead wackos have turned a once great nation into a right old shambles. So I hope and I pray that this time you lot actually listen to Amy Suzanne. No more excuses. No more just waving flags and signs or moaning into microphones and out of bullhorns from the sidelines. No more building personal brands while Canada goes down the bleeding shitter. Rights don't come from no crown, no parliament, no Congress, no king, nor any scrap of paper. They come at birth as a gift from the Creator above, straight from the big fella upstairs, innit? They ain't granted by some posh git in a wig or a bunch of suited prats in a chamber. They're yours by right the moment you draw your first breath, bestowed by the Almighty Himself. This here's a call, perhaps that last and only good call you'll ever hear, to finally strap on your courage like your greatest generation ancestors did on them D-Day beaches. Stand up tall and stop the enemies within from ultimately destroying the nation and every right you add, plus gain the same rights that our French and American cousins have, hold and enjoy. This is a call a desperate, urgent and sacred call to get off your asses, show some real bottle, and help build this new Republican Party of Canada. And put strong voices like Tamara, Kat and Andy on the inside where they can actually make a proper difference. Power belongs to the people, but only if we're willing to organise and take it, me old china plates. Amy has done her part by laying this out clearly for the second time. And the only way to make this happen is to listen up to what this girl has to say and get those like Andy Lee, who know better than anyone else in Canada how to make it happen. This time, listen up to Amy too. So now that that's all been said, let's make it happen, you lazy sods. Get stuck in before it's too late.